We are so glad you took the time to dig us up. So, let's get to the wooden stake point, shall we, my dear fiends? Hey everybody, welcome to Monster Magazine Weekly, the only show that's not really weekly, but it does show up every now and then in your YouTube feed if you're subscribed to us, and if you're not, please do. In the room we got me, we got Ricky, we got David, and straight out of Harwood, California, it's Slim Carody. Hey.
I feel like I'm telecommuting to this one, so
yeah, we're using like crystal ball and all that cool stuff.
Well, yeah. What else? Of course. It has to be one of those crystal balls you used to always see in '80s movies with the electricity inside that you put your fingers on.
Yeah,
it touches your fingertips.
Oh yes, that's the fun one. It makes your hair stand up too.
Does it really?
Well, you don't have any hair.
The most luxurious back hair you have ever seen.
Excellent. Anyway, for those who don't know, Slim Carody is the host of Midnite Monster Party, which is on YouTube. You need to subscribe if you haven't. He is one of the coolest dudes we know, and he's written an article for Monster Magazine #2, and he's now doing comic strips for Monster Magazine. With Vance, yeah, so we're all hanging out tonight and yakking, and so we're having fun.
Yeah, it's awesome. We've actually been yakking for probably an hour now before we even hit record.
Yeah. Yes.
So not to derail the show immediately, but I have a question for you fellas.
I am wearing pants.
Okay, question answered. What about Rick?
No, he is not.
Okay.
I'm in my panties. And they have a picture of Slim Carody on the back.
Okay, as long as it's the back and not the front.
All right, so what's your question?
I'm curious, how did Monster Magazine come about?
Well, you can go back to a long time ago. I'm going to preface this real quick. I wanted to do something a long time ago, but I failed miserably. I had an underground TV show called Spook Show.
Oh, it's amazing, too.
Wow. Thank you. I appreciate it. 154 episodes in all.
And most things
seriously, I've said it before online, but when I first envisioned the Monster Party, it was essentially that. Just with a little bit of footage of me sandwiched in between talking about the stuff and then cutting to awesome nonsense.
Well, I was influenced by a great show called Theater for the Insane. I absolutely fell in love with that. And then on that show, he showed a clip of Hypnotic Eye, Joe Riley's program, and I was just I went nuts and started doing Spook Show. I was already making clip DVDs and stuff, bringing them over here, torturing David with them. Well, after 150 plus episodes, I got kind of tired of doing them. One night, our friend Joe was over. Rick and Joe were talking about making a podcast, and eventually started talking about maybe we should do a magazine.
And you thought it was a bad idea.
I thought it was a bad idea, I'll be honest with you. I had tried to make a magazine during the Spook Show days, and I was focusing on 19 heavily on really bad B movies from the 40s, and my main article of the first issue was going to be Bantan Moreland and King of the Zombies. And I thought, after a while, I was just I don't think that'll go over too well nowadays. So, drop that and let it go. But, yeah, when them two started talking about it, I said, that's not going to work. So, many moons later, I started talking to David. I said, do you think we could do that? David's like, I don't know. He said, get out of my house. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. And then my friend Dave Good, he was down here for the summer, for a week or two during the summer.
Complaining about it being hot.
He's from New York, so there you go. And he wants to move down here, so go figure. So I said to him, I want to talk to Ricky about doing this magazine. And Ricky's like, let's do it. So that very first, I guess that night when we did the Sundown Cinema episode, where we're just sitting around here talking about our favorite horror films, that was the night we started seriously talking about doing the Monster Magazine. Yeah, it's a long process. Sorry for the long answer.
No, I mean, it's exactly what I wanted to know, and I think listeners would probably be curious to know, especially fans of the magazine, how it came about.
There are 10 of them?
Say what?
All 10 of them?
All 10 of them what?
Fans of the magazine.
Yeah, all 10 fans of the magazine.
Hey, it'll grow. And I know Vance's YouTube has quite a lot of followers, so
you know
more than me. So.
What cracks me up about YouTube is it'll say you have this many subscribers and you've had this many views on your video, and there's a website I go to that tells the actual numbers, and it doesn't match what YouTube shows. And if you go to your analytics page, it's the same thing. It doesn't even match what you see on the screen. So, like, if the video says you've only had like 3 views, on the analytics it shows that you've had 15 or 20 views. And it's crazy.
I've noticed that as well.
Ugh.
And also a curious thing about YouTube is the fact that if someone has their subscriptions set to private, no one can see them but themselves. Like, even if they subscribe to you, you can't see them.
You know, I don't even know what I've got mine set on. I've checked that. Huh.
I don't think yours are private.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. So I was curious why Monster Magazine Weekly has started going up on the Vance Capley page and not the Monster Magazine page, or YouTube, I should say.
Okay, if you're a YouTube user, you know this. When you first start a YouTube channel, you're only allowed 15 minutes. There you go. You're only
are they still doing that?
Yes, they're still doing that. So that's why any episode over 15 minutes is put on my page, sadly.
I think, though, if you... this right here is terribly interesting for the listeners, I guess, but I think if you give them your phone number and let them verify you, you can go to however long you want. Because I never waited.
Okay, well, I'm gonna do that this week. That's gonna be awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, we can go ahead and start doing that. Then I could transfer the videos from there to the other one, because that'd be great. Then, yes.
I'm glad you.
And I still say you guys need a .com.
Monster Magazine's trying to live off the money it produces.
Right.
So, right now with our 10 fans, we made about $1 per magazine, and it's growing. It takes time. We understand
Definitely.
that. We're trying to come up with some things to get it to grow, and we're doing shows and we're talking to people and stuff. And these YouTube videos do help. It's just, people they're not into print media like they used to be, I don't think.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad definitely bought a copy of issue 2.
We appreciate that.
Very much.
Showing it off to the whole family, the whole Carody gang.
Now, don't forget, you're getting your cards. They'll be coming through your mail. And speaking of cards, Monster Magazine has a brand new set of trading cards illustrated by the Ricky Blaylock. There's 9 cards in all, and you flip them over and it makes a great puzzle. And it comes with a sticker, $2.99 plus $1 shipping. And you can see the link below and get yours today.
They're very good.
And speaking of Monster Magazine, the next issue, the Kolchak issue, sounds like it's going to be pretty amazing.
Oh, it's going to be a beast.
How many pages is it going to be?
Right now we're looking at about 62 pages in all. And it's going to be more than that by the time I get through with the Mark DeWinziak interview. It's just, there's so much information coming in, and so many people who said, oh, you're doing Kolchak? I want to write something for that. And it just keeps building and building and building. And it'll be a Sears catalog by the time we're done.
And speaking of, I actually had an idea for an article myself. But then when I actually started writing it in my brain, I was like, I don't think I can fill a page with this. So I'm just going to discuss my article here for the listeners, if that's okay.
Please.
So I have a theory, and I've had this theory for a little while now, that you've all seen A Christmas Story. Am I correct?
Oh,
yes.
That the old man in A Christmas Story is actually a retired Kolchak.
Oh, nice.
And if you think about it, yes, they give the last name of Parker, but that could be a pseudonym. Kolchak might have wanted to change his name to escape the fame, but other than that, they never give the parents first names.
No.
And if you think about all those scenes where he disappears into the basement to, I'm doing air quotes, fight the furnace.
Yep.
I think he was down there up to his old tricks again.
I think he's got something there.
A Christmas Story is the official sequel to Kolchak the Night Stalker. You heard it here first, folks.
And Scott Farkas is the monster?
Yeah.
He follows me on Twitter.
Who?
Does he really?
Scott Farkas.
Oh, yes.
That
yes.
guy that plays him.
Yeah, I saw him on a Disney TV show a couple years back, and he barely aged at all. I mean, he looked about the same.
There was a.
He's kind of buff looking now because he
Yeah.
was in one of the Resident Evil movies.
Yeah. He was on a comedy series a while back, and I can't remember what it was called. It was on Fox, and he was playing I guess the brother to the lead character, and I can't remember. I'll have to look up the name of it or whatever. And I thought it was actually kind of funny, but it didn't last too long.
Fox is very cancel happy.
Yeah.
Watch out for watching any show on Fox.
Oh yeah.
It seems like Netflix has gotten that way here lately.
Well, I'm about to cancel my Netflix. Seriously.
But
Hey,
they think the two Marvel ones that Netflix canceled may show up on the Disney Channel
they're going to be
when they're streaming.
Yeah, I moved over to Prime recently, and that's where I've been watching most of my nonsense is on there, because they have a much, much better selection of, like, older horror movies.
We were intrigued by Black Scorpion. Your review brought back some memories, I think, of Vance had memories of watching it. So
No, had you seen it when it was first run?
Yeah, we rented the movies, and it wasn't too long after that we saw several years after that, we saw the TV show. And I was like, I was watching it for all the wrong reasons. Let's be real. Come on, look at that costume, really. I mean, look
Is
at
that the
Frank
wrong
Gorshin.
reason?
Yeah, yeah. But it was fun. It was I think I put it on your YouTube channel just a minute ago. That it was a fun show. It was more fun than the movies. The movies were more straight line, or trying to be, and in the series it had more of I don't want to say tongue in cheek, but it was in that more of a wasn't as comical as Batman, but getting there.
A little lighthearted.
Lighthearted. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said in the review, it basically, to me, really just felt like Baywatch or something, just with superheroes. It had that kind of, vibe to it. So I got to comment on something from the last episode.
Sure.
I gotta agree with you, Rick. I like Creepshow Part 2, personally.
I didn't think it was as bad as everybody says it is.
It's a terrible film.
It's
Come
not
on.
that bad. I mean, come on.
The Raft? Come on.
The Raft?
Exactly.
What about
the
the
Raft?
one with the hitchhiker? Thanks for the ride.
Well, the hitchhiker was good, I admit.
What about the Indian?
I didn't like that.
Nah.
Say what you will about any of the other skits. The Raft, to me, that is still creepy stuff. And then that ending, I beat you. No, you didn't. I mean, that's good stuff.
That was an excellent little film.
Was it as bad as Ghost Rider 2, though?
I did see Ghost Rider 2.
I don't blame you, brother. I don't blame you at all. It was bad.
I gotta say, that's what I like about old Dave there, or David. Which you prefer, Dave or David?
It doesn't matter.
Is like he doesn't say a lot, but usually when he does, he just chimes in to say something I personally agree with, and then he's quiet again.
David is he knows movie like every horror film. It's almost like every horror film he could tell you book, chapter, verse on these things.
But my expertise ends with probably the mid '80s.
Yeah.
And into the '90s a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I found that even horror movies that I didn't necessarily like as much in the 80s and before, compared to the bad horror movies of now, there's so much, like the 80s ones were so much better, like bad movies in the 80s were so much better than bad movies now. Or maybe it's just me.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, I agree too.
It was a lot more fun. And one of my favorite things to do when I was a teenager, and we rent, like Jason or Freddy or anything like that, we would cheer for the Freddy or Jason. We wouldn't cheer for the kids. Run for your life. No, we'd like get him.
Oh yeah, same. I remember when I went to see part, I think it was 7. Well, which was the one where he's under the water and the little psychic girl raises him up.
Oh, I love that one.
Is that the one that Kane Hodder played him where he was like half suspended in the water by a chain?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Was that 4?
Was it 4?
It might have been 4.
Wow.
No, I'm almost positive it was 7 because he was zombie Jason. And zombie Jason
Yeah,
didn't appear
yeah.
until
Maybe
the
that was
6th, I
it.
think.
Yes, it had to be 7 then.
As a little boy, 8 or 9 years old or whatever I was at the time, I wore a hockey mask and had a plastic butcher knife to go see that one.
Oh, cool.
That sounds like.
Was that in, well, I don't want to go into all that. Was that in the old days in your homeland of Romania, or is that?
Yeah, that was when I was still a human being.
Okay, cool.
The Spider Island incident. But I've talked about that so much. I'm sure no one wants to hear about Spider Island again.
If you don't know the stories, please go visit his channel, Midnite Monster Party. Subscribe, like, share, etc., etc., etc.
So I got a personality question for each one of you fellas.
All right.
If you don't mind.
Shoot.
Yeah.
So what is a horror movie, or it doesn't necessarily specifically have to be a horror movie, but to stay on topic, it would be cool to pick a horror movie that you did not like the first time you saw it, but then the second time you watched it, you're like, why didn't I like that? Like, it grew on you the second time, and now you like.
I've had so many like that, and now I'm drawing a blank.
I'll give you one while you guys think about it.
Okay.
Inferno by Dario Argento. I did not like it at all the first time I saw it. But then I figured I'll give it another shot. And then the second time I watched it, I was like, wow, why didn't I like this?
I had the same experience with that movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's not just me.
No, the first time I rented it on VHS, I don't think it got a theatrical release.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you're talking about Inferno.
Yeah, Inferno.
What's the one that's seen as the sequel to Suspiria?
That's Inferno.
That is Inferno. Okay.
Yeah.
I was getting it mixed up with one of his later movies. But yeah, that's the one. I rented it in the 80s, or 84, 85, because I was living in Knoxville at the time. I was in college. And didn't care that much for it. And then a few years later, I rented it again, watched it by myself rather than with a group of people. And I just started noticing all these brilliant flourishes and things that I didn't even remember from the first time. Maybe we were talking a lot during it or something. But I did see Creepers in the cinema. I've seen 2 Argento films on the big screen, Suspiria and Creepers.
Wow.
Creepers. That's Phenomenon, right?
Yes, that's Phenomenon.
Okay.
Couldn't think of its real title. But it was edited pretty badly for American theatrical distribution. But I thought it had some beautiful, striking set pieces that he orchestrated very well. But I thought, as a movie, it was it wasn't organically successful, the pacing and all. And that may have been from the cutting. I've never seen the complete version.
There's a Phenomena version on Amazon Prime right now.
Oh, wow.
That's where I first saw it.
Okay. But I remember certain scenes on the big screen were just beautiful, especially in the first 10 minutes or so in the mountains.
That's a real similar with Inferno, too. I don't know if you've seen Inferno in recent years, but just how effective the lighting and the music is in that movie. Like, there's a scene where it's basically just the dude goes into an air vent or whatever. Absolutely really nothing going on.
Right.
But the music and the lighting is so intense. It is like the most intense walking through an air vent you'll ever see in your life, just because of that music and lighting.
Well, Clive Barker, you probably know this. Clive Barker, in an essay I read a long time ago, said that Suspiria was the first horror film he ever saw that really met his expectations of what the poster had led him to dream the movie would be like, or to imagine the movie would be like. He thought it really, with all those candy colors and the music and, and all the violence, I guess, he thought it really was not a disappointment.
So what about you, Vance? You got a second take movie?
Yes. When me and my buddies used to get together, not these guys, but back before I met these guys, really. Well, I knew David, but...
Before you became cool?
Yeah, before I knew Rick. There you go. But we would all get together and, just watch insanely bad movies, and then we'd take a video camcorder and kind of, make our own little short films, and I would torture David with these movies. And one of the movies that we watched, I didn't care for it when I first watched it. In fact, we made complete fun of it. And then I ended up with the videotape, thanks to Josh Conley, a friend of mine. And it's now one of my favorite horror films of all time. In fact, the whole series is Return of the Blind Dead. That's the American title. Yeah, I absolutely love those Blind Dead movies. They're genius, and they're scary and atmospheric. I still haven't got to watch the last one, the Night of the Seagulls, yet. My wife and I was telling her about them. She said, well, I want to see it. And I showed them to her, and she's not a horror movie fan. You can, David grew up with her, and she's not a horror movie fan. No. She was really interested in the storylines and stuff. But seriously, when I rewatched Return of the Blind Dead, I was just like, that's it, I'm hooked.
I personally really like Night of the Seagulls. It gets a bad rap, I think, because it has a very different vibe than the rest of them. Right. But I dug it.
Well, I'm looking forward to watching it. Very cool.
Okay, how about you, Rick?
I guess mine would be a really surprise to you and David and everybody. Day of the Dead.
What?
Oh.
When I first saw that, I didn't like it, but now I watch it like once or twice a month.
Oh.
I'm speechless.
No, I was with Ricky. We were both disappointed. We went to the movie theater to see it with a whole group of horror fans in Knoxville. And we were expecting another Dawn of the Dead.
Right.
And we were kind of let down.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
And then I got to watching it, and now I watch it on Blu-ray, and you can see more of what, more like what you saw in the theater instead of on TV. And you're like, I don't see why people give this such a bad rap.
It's not a bad
I love it, yeah. All the Romero ones are good, but I really like Day as well.
Wow.
How did you like Diary of the Dead?
Which one is Diary? I get those confused because there's the hidden camera one, or not hidden camera, the shaky cam one.
The shaky, that's it.
I get motion sick so easy. I can't watch those. Actually make me sick.
Oh, wow.
Out of all of the ones that he's done, out of all of the Dead movies, that is my least favorite.
Yeah.
I really don't like it because it's... And I've taken to calling it Diarrhea of the Dead.
Yeah, I've heard you say that.
Yeah, I can't get through it just because of the shaky cam.
What did you think?
Last time I tried to watch Blair Witch, I actually threw up. So.
I can't stand watching that movie.
I love that movie.
I don't much care for it. I mean, everybody, I heard people say, and one of Jenny's brothers, who's like the biggest redneck ever, he said, oh, that movie scared me to death. I hated going deer hunting out in the woods by myself.
Well, think about it. I mean, to people around here, it would be a scary sort of film. Think about it. Unless you know how to see a fence row, which we do, so it kind of takes you out of the picture a little bit. But it was something different, and it was like back when your great uncle would sit and tell you a scary story next to the fire.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it reminded me of, that style of storytelling.
Blair Witch is really, you love it or you hate it.
I just don't like it.
I've ever met anyone in between. It's like, it was all right. Like, everyone is very passionate about it either way, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas me, that is one of 2 movies in my adult life that scared me. I couldn't sleep that night. I was so freaked out after watching that movie.
What movie?
Blair Witch.
Oh. Yeah. Blair Witch, yeah. And wait till the sun came up before I could go to sleep that night.
Yeah. I went to the theater, and as soon as I got out of there, I think I come to your house first. Told you about it, didn't I, David?
I believe you did.
I remember going to the. Do you remember going to the Pope Theater to see Halloween, and after it was over, running all the way home?
Yeah.
We were afraid Michael Myers was going to get us.
Yeah, we used to walk to the movie theater, didn't we?
Yeah, and then sometimes we'd walk to the movie theater at like 11, 12 o'clock at night.
Just to be out walking.
Slim?
Yes, sir.
Our local theater for a while was showing classics of horror free at midnight in the month of October. And me and Ricky went one night with my brother Jamie, and they were showing Halloween.
No, Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
And it was on a Friday the 13th.
Right. Friday the 13th, yeah. We got through watching everything, and a couple of weeks later, we all got together for a Halloween party. And Ricky said, I had a really good time, except for somebody down the road trying to sound like Lucy from the Lucy Show. My brother was over there every time it would show Jason's mom. He'd be over going, Ricky, every few minutes. It was hilarious. And Ricky was so mad about it, he didn't even know who was doing it. And my brother was like, it was me.
Well, what about, you carried Steven and I carried Abby,
Yeah.
and they were about what? Abby was probably 16.
About that, yeah.
Something like that. And
Yeah.
Steven was about 15.
Yeah.
And they laughed all the way through the movie.
At the movie.
At the movie.
At the movie, they were making fun
They were
of it.
laughing at it and making fun of it. And it scared the crap out of us when we were kids.
When I show my students clips from movies that were made in the 80s, sometimes, when we're doing a book or something,
Right.
they invariably talk about, and even from the 90s, oh, those special effects were awful.
Oh my gosh.
CGI has made them so critical of
Yeah.
older stuff that I thought the effects were great. For instance, what was it? I showed them a clip from Sword of the Valiant, which is a version of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight.
Yeah.
And it was kind of corny, but boy, they just to their more sophisticated eyes and brains, more sophisticated. I'm putting in quotes.
Yeah, in quotes. Yeah.
It seems like anything that was made before the last 10 years is automatically an object of their derision. Not all of them.
Man, show them some scenes from The Thing.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
If they have something negative to say about that, go get Vance's shovel. Because that's just what you got to do.
Well, there's a problem. There's a guy in this room who does not like remakes.
He's talking about the old one, though.
Are you talking about the original, or are you talking about the one from the 80s?
Yeah, the real one, the Kurt Russell.
No, man. The Thing from the 50s.
The Thing from Outer Space with James Arness?
Yeah.
Thing from Another World.
Thing from
Another World. I'm sorry.
Yeah, see, that's the real one.
I have to say that's one of the few remakes that.
You mean you didn't like The Thing?
No, I don't like remakes.
Where is your shovel?
Yeah, guys, I gotta go. Someone cooler I need to talk to.
Oh!
Oh, Vance, you just got burned, Jack.
Oh, I'm over here on fire.
I'm gonna ask Slim this question. What did you think of Peter Jackson's King Kong?
I try not to be negative on anything. Like, it's just I didn't care for it.
I thought it was good.
Yo,
Although I could do without the Central Park thing where King Kong is ice skating.
he is freaking ice skating.
Take
King
that out.
Kong
And
does not ice
it would
skate.
make it better.
Honestly, it was really just two things for me. One, they tried to make Kong a little too sympathetic. It almost seemed like it was a love story between him and the girl.
Thank you.
A little creepy.
Yeah.
And then I thought Jack Black just he wasn't the right fit for that role.
No.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
Now that's one of our ongoing arguments, and the other is over which is the best version of A Christmas Carol.
Don't.
Oh, yeah.
It's on. It's on.
It's on. Ask him.
All right. Who's your favorite version of the Scrooge?
Bill Murray.
Wow.
No, we have to leave him out because
No.
technically
He get. Hey,
either Albert Finney, George C. Scott, or Alistair Sim.
well, he added a new one to the mix, Bill Murray. So now it's a four-way battle.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's a very tough question because I actually saw quite a few of those as a kid, and I always liked them. So it's hard to say. There was even that animated one too, wasn't there?
Yeah, the one with Jim Carrey.
Yeah, there's an animated one with Jim Carrey, and there's one with Mr. Magoo, of course.
Yeah.
And then, poor David.
The Muppets.
Yeah, the Muppets.
The Muppets, the Donald Duck one.
Poor David, every Christmas, if me and Rick are in the room, he will do his best not to mention Scrooge because he knows me and Rick will go just get in an epic battle over it.
Well, who's your choices then? So I can...
Mine is Alistair Sim. He is Scrooge.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said. I think you said George C.
No,
Scott.
I did not say George. No, I did not say Patton. I did not say Patton.
Which was the black and white one?
That's the
That's Alistair Sim.
yeah.
I think that's the one I got to go with.
Oh
Man,
it's been so long though. To be honest, I mean we're talking since the '80s since I've
True,
seen them.
true.
So
yeah.
I have to watch
really
that
need to see
every
it again,
year.
but the only one that I watch regularly and is in my brain is Bill Murray.
Yeah, my friend Billy loves to watch that one. That's one of his favorites.
I like that movie. I didn't understand the critics' reaction to it.
Have you showed any of your students any of the clips from American Werewolf in London?
No, I haven't.
They'd probably laugh at it.
Probably.
Well,
I mean, the transformation scene
that was
in that
awesome.
is...
But nowadays, kids, they've got video games that they can control that actually do that right on the screen as they're pressing buttons. So
Yeah.
these kids today, huh?
Yeah, it's not necessarily my favorite werewolf, even though it's a great werewolf, but I would go on record and say that that's my favorite werewolf transformation ever in a movie.
I'll agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I kind of like the Howling, the transformations in the Howling.
Yeah, it's a good one too.
I've always heard that that's good.
You haven't seen Hal?
No, I have not.
We need to rent that one night and watch it.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I have
Yeah,
seen
that's
Silver Bullet several times, and it gets a horrible rap.
Yeah, well.
And I thought it was okay.
I like that one. I saw that at the theater as a kid, and so that just Gary Busey's character. I just thought he was the funniest thing.
He was hilarious in that.
What was he says the Hardy Boys versus Reverend Werewolf? Or whatever.
Before we forget, as you know, we have issues number 3 and 4 together for sale with the trading card set, and you can get those for an autographed copies of issue 3 and 4, by the way, with the card set, and the link will be down below in the description, and we hope you check that out.
And I think I'm going to go ahead and tell Mark Ballard
Yes,
that I am going to go
to the Knoxville
show. So I'll have some of those there.
You know what?
If anybody's in Knoxville.
Right, if you're in
watch.
Knoxville, Tennessee, and you're looking at this, Ricky may be, probably.
Yeah,
maybe,
I'm going to say probably.
We'll probably be at the Knoxville show, and we'll talk more about that as we get closer. Now, Slim has told us that he may be in our vicinity at some time in the future. Do you think you would ever do a comic show, bro?
Oh, if they would have me, absolutely.
All right.
Or do you mean an episode about comics?
No, actually being at a comic show,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's actually a goal of mine. I would love, like a lifelong dream, to be a guest at a con.
Well, your numbers are growing constantly on the YouTube, and I'm pretty sure you're going to build such a huge audience shortly, and, we're just tagging along. Let's be real.
And you got to admit, if he's in not costume.
Well, I plan to drag you guys along every step of the way.
Woo!
Ooh, yes.
Just think of me as like the mummy, and you guys are my bandages. Oh, yeah.
And that's a wrap.
Oh,
Man, that would have been a good place to end the episode, but I don't want to end the episode.
I don't either. I'm just joking. But,
I actually was thinking we were talking about the 80s movies and such. We've talked about in the magazines about our favorite classic monsters and stuff. What is you guys' each favorite, say, 80s monster or madman or fiend?
all right, I'm going to go first on this one. Out of the 80s, there was 2 movies that were made by Disney, and they're horror films, but they're kind of comical in a way. But
Watcher in the Woods?
No, the Mr. Boogedy movies.
Ah, Mr. Boogedy. Wow, yeah.
I could watch those all day.
I've never seen those.
I have not either.
Cool. They're cool. There's a little bit of humor to them, but it's not him being humorous. It's like Freddy Krueger light.
And they're only like an hour long, too, which is interesting.
Yeah. They were running on the Disney Channel around Halloween, the first one, and then the sequel. I don't know if I like the sequel as much as the first one, though. But I still like them both,
So Mr. Boogedy's your favorite, huh?
Of the 80s, I'll go with it.
Okay, interesting. Rick?
Ooh, it's hard because there's a bunch.
Not the point, man.
What? Why not?
I have to
This
say,
is not that kind of podcast. I keep telling you.
I keep thinking I'm at the massage parlor. I'm sorry.
We'll have to edit that one out.
I
by the
don't
way,
know.
we're taking shots right now of Vance's highly recommended Sasquatch urine.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the Sasquatch urine is really
But
a
the
great
thing is, I don't think you're supposed to drink it. Aren't you supposed to put it in your hair or on your face?
You're supposed to
Yeah,
put it on
you're
your
not supposed
face.
to drink it.
Well, yeah, it's kind of gross if you drink it, but if you mix it with, say, tequila or or the powdered bones of a mediocre clown.
Oh,
it
yeah.
creates a great... Dude, that was like the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. The powdered bones of a mediocre clown. That's a t-shirt.
Yes.
Hey, if you want to make that for the T Public, you have my blessing.
Done and done. Rick, go
And
ahead.
Vance keeps thinking the Black Lagoon mud is cake ice, and he's dipping his finger in it and eating it.
So Rick,
Ooh, man, I don't know. I mean, of course, you got Freddy Krueger.
yeah, but what you pick?
Yeah,
Is it Pumpkinhead?
I liked Pumpkinhead,
I
man.
do too. I do too.
I would have to
Great
go with
design.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like the movies that much,
in
but I
the-
like
in
him.
the first
a
two
lot.
movies.
Say
Freddy
what,
Krueger in the first two.
The first two. Before
Yeah.
he got all quippy.
the first two Freddy Krueger movies, David said.
Okay.
Not
Good
that
choice.
not that I like the second one that much, but I think the monster, I'll call him a monster. I thought he was still effective and scary in the second one.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on you.
No, go ahead, buddy.
I was going to ask, is John Saxon in the first or the second one?
First.
First and third.
Yeah.
Yes.
John Saxon's awesome. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I really like him in what is it, Tenebrae, right?
Yes.
The Argento movie. Yeah.
That's right, he is in that.
Yeah.
I'd have to throw Day of the Dead in there too. I mean,
Wow, Bub.
I love that movie now.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Bub is great.
So
Well,
what
just
is your
mean the
favorite?
individual character. Doesn't necessarily have to be films or a series. Don't you have to like the movies? I just mean, who is your 80s monster?
Oh,
Barlow from Salem's Lot.
70s.
That's an
Oh,
excellent.
is that 70s?
Yeah, 79. 78,
79?
79.
I was thinking he was like 81.
No,
Because I know Pennywise is like 91.
Well, at the time, Dad was a preacher and he wouldn't let us watch it, so yeah.
I took to Barlow as a kid. I emptied out my toy box, and I would lay in my toy box like it was a coffin, pretending I was Barlow.
Cool.
I know that movie scared us so bad when we was kids.
You know, I didn't get to see.
You didn't get to see it when it came.
I didn't
See,
get to see it because Dad wouldn't let us watch it when we was kids. I didn't get to see it until I was an adult, and my friend Andy showed it to me, and he said, "Well, what'd you think?" And I said, "I'm mad." And he goes, "Why are you mad?" And I said, "Because I didn't get to watch this as a kid. That would have been a blast to watch as a kid."
Oh man, we used to. Of course, you know where I grew up at.
Yeah, out in the
David
woods.
does. And we used to cut through the woods, go all kinds of places. Because if you went the main roads, it'd take you twice as long. So if you cut through the woods, you get
Flirt with the girls down
half,
the lake.
half the time. Yeah. But after we saw Salem's Lot, that put an end to that.
Yeah.
Well, that is a good choice. Even though I guess they're technically right, it should go in your 70s
Yeah.
monster icon. But man, that is a good one.
What about you, Slim? What is your favorite of the?
I've been thinking about that as we've been talking. That's tough because kind of like with what you guys have been saying, ones I kind of think of for 80s or 90s or 70s. Like I thought, okay, Pennywise. Well, no, that's 90s.
Right.
Anyone in Nightbreed, again, 90s.
oh yeah.
Right.
This might be a cheat, but I'm going to say Leatherface. Because my favorite Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, and this is another controversial opinion, is Part 2.
With Dennis Hopper.
Yeah.
I love that one.
We're ready to.
Where he's got the holsters with the two little home lights, one in each one.
Oh,
Yeah, that's an excellent choice.
That is a good
great choice. Great.
Well, what
choice.
about Nathan Grantham from Creepshow?
That's a good one, too.
That's
Yeah.
82.
But see, I never played as him in the backyard as a kid.
Well, there you go.
I
No.
spent a lot of time pretending I was Leatherface in the backyard, so I got to go Leatherface.
The only monster I played as a kid in the backyard was Godzilla, or Gigan if I was feeling angry. But that's pretty much it.
We used to
Oh,
pretend
really?
that King Kong and
Yeah.
Godzilla was after us in our clubhouse out there at Mom and Daddy's. Remember
Yeah.
that thing?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
We had clubhouses everywhere.
I was
So then,
always a
Vance, if you
vampire.
weren't playing as monsters in your backyard, what were you playing?
Superheroes.
Superheroes.
I was
That
always
and
a
rock
vampire.
stars.
Always a
See,
vampire.
unfortunately, well, maybe not necessarily unfortunately, I was almost nothing but monsters from 3 years old all the way up, probably up until 11 or 12. That's when
Wow.
I discovered comics, and the monsters got pushed aside a tiny bit for comics. But unfortunately, I didn't really hit comics and superheroes hard till about 11 or 12.
We were always into the monsters, wasn't we, David?
Yes.
Not that much superheroes. It was all monsters.
Yeah, I was the nerd of this group.
Now, I used to pretend to be an ape from Planet of the Apes.
I remember doing that.
So an ape, actual ape, or a chimpanzee, or?
I was usually whatever character Roddy McDowell played.
Cornelius?
Yeah, Cornelius.
Okay, so a chimpanzee then, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's a good choice.
I don't mean to interrupt, but the timer on my camera is saying we're almost out of time, sadly. And that sucks. That really sucks because we're having a good time.
Yeah.
But we don't have to end the conversation.
No, we don't have to end the conversation. But for you folks who are watching at home, we hope you like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you check out Slim's Midnite Monster Party. It is on YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe it. Share it with your friends. Slim, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
And
Chris
remember,
Slim.
we'll be in Clarksville next month.
Right, next month we're going to be in Clarksville, Tennessee. And we're
Campbell.
in Fort Campbell, yeah. But I wanted to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you so much again, Slim. Thank you, man. You're awesome.
Thank you. It's actually, the pleasure was mine.
Vance Kepley is a self-taught artist who has worked in various mediums, including drawing, painting, and graphic design for over 20 years. He now has his designs here on TeePublic. Old school, unique, stylish. He is also available to help you with your original TeePublic designs. Make sure you visit Vance Kepley Art 1972 at teepublic.com. You'll be glad you did.